Can the 1995 SuperTruck champion Mike Skinner sitting in his truck. Mike, first of all, great season.
Thank you very much. We had a lot of fun.
What do you expect out of this racetrack today? And did you watch what just happened here in the dash race?
Nah, we didn't watch a whole lot of it. We was in there watching some of it on television, and you know, those cars handle a lot different than these trucks do. We're using this as a test. We're trying to figure out how we want to come back here. You know, we throw a basic setup under the truck, and we're just going to see how it does. You know, hopefully we can get 7, 8, 10, maybe 15 green laps to find out what it's going to do and how the tires are going to hold up. But I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Mike, what do you think of the racetrack so far and the facility in general?
I really like it. It's a good racetrack. You know, a lot of people slipped. You just have to really respect it getting in the corner. It's real easy to overdrive this place, and you know, I hope we don't get caught up doing that today.
Best of luck, Mike. Let's go to Randy Pemberton, who's with a driver on the comeback trail.
No doubt about it. He's off the mend and on the move. He dominated a Winston Cup race a week ago before falling out. Ernie Irvin sitting in your truck. What about it here, putting these trucks out on this 1.5 mile flat super speedway?
Well, I tell you, you know, it's the trucks handle really good here. It amazed me when we got out there. You know, we're running really close to about the same speed we ran in the Busch car. Obviously, my Busch car didn't go very fast. So, you know, but it was exciting, and I don't see any problem running the trucks here.
Hey, good luck this afternoon. Be safe.
Yeah, he gets an ovation wherever he goes these days. Ernie Irvin. Now we're looking, and they're looking at more standings, and NASCAR is considering moving Hutto to 6, and right now that's what's just come up on the computer. They placed him in 6, and that's going to leave Hutto. They're going to have to get another diamond ring. One for Hutto and one for Cottle. Take another look at that finish that brought around the hubbub when it was over, and the hubbub's gone on for about 15 minutes. You see the 74 shoot to the inside. Looks like the 5 just backed up.
Yeah, it did. Something happened to him on that restart. He just didn't get the kind of start that he would like to have had. And boom, in the wall she went.
Jacob Hobgood was credited with 10th position, that guy that was up in front. So there you see part of the fountain service at the new motorsports complex here in Homestead, Florida. And right off to its left is what all the folks in town, Ralph Sanchez says, we did it together, the community did it, and the folks out here in the elevator, and it's all local support and so forth. We're going to call that Lake Sanchez for Ralph.
And you know, it's one thing to come here and enjoy the physical facility, but for this to have been the first race and to have had it been so competitive all the way through, and to have this dramatic finish not only for the championship but for the race itself, what an inauguration to this speedway.
Well, we're getting an official word now. It is down and short. NASCAR moving Hutto to 6, which makes it a tie for the championship for 1995. Hutto will win the tiebreaker, 5 wins, and that was just, 2 wins for Cottle on the season. Camera looking over the 1.5 mile. Homestead Motorsports Complex, and we're getting this word from NASCAR. They're going to wait until this truck event is over, and then they're going to sort out this event. If it ended in a tie in the points, it goes back to most wins on the season, 5-4. 5-4, the decision would go to Hutto over Cottle by that 1 win. Hutto had 5, and Cottle had 4 wins on the 1995 campaign. You can't get them closer than that. You get down to the end of the season and go back to look over the whole year, and you win it by 1 win.
Yep.
Scored earlier on the season. Boy, that's something. But they haven't made that official. That is not official at this moment. They're still over there in a confab. But that move to 6th place, that seems like it will stand. Stay tuned.
Getting a look at the trucks here. They're lined up, sitting on the grid.
Well, you know, we've seen these trucks. We saw them in Denver. We saw them at Milwaukee, and that great show up there. And well, here we are in this environment for them. And your thoughts as you look at these trucks come onto a track where they can pull all the speed that they've got to give.
Well, that's the real
2,100-foot speed.
Yeah, that's the real concern here is the high speeds. Until today, they have run these trucks only on tracks that are a mile in length or less, and some of their best shows have been on the smaller tracks. And aerodynamically, these trucks are very, very different than race cars per se. They have aerodynamic lift in the nose when they are at high speed, meaning that the air actually tries to lift the nose off the ground by a few pounds. Not much downforce on the back, nowhere near as much downforce as the race cars had, because what happens is the air hits that big blunt nose, goes right over the top of the roof of the truck, comes down about in the middle of the bed in the back, bounces up and catches about the top 2 inches of the back spoiler. So this is a bit of an aerodynamic experiment to see how they will work at this high-speed new track in Florida.
And let's talk about how they're going to line them up for this event, this very special event, to let the Super Trucks, the Craftsman Super Trucks, out here and see what they're going to do. For the grid for this race, let's take a look at row number 1. And as we understand it, Mike Skinner is going to, correction, they're going to put Jimmy Hensley into the first row with Ernie Irvin alongside. That's row 1. Hensley, who can drive anything and drive it well, and you know the story of Ernie Irvin and this incredible comeback. Row 2 is going to be Mike Chase, and Jeff Bodine is there with his own truck, number 7. Going to row 3, and there you have John Nemechek in a Chevrolet, and Michael Doken in a Chevrolet as well, number 64. Looking at row 4, this is Rick Carilli. This is this big star from the West out of Denver, Colorado. He's pretty much owned that track out there in Denver. He's run everything. He's won the Winston West. Watch for him today. And Butch Miller, who gave so many great races to this season's success of the Craftsman Series. Butch Miller out of the Midwest. Wonderful to see him run. Then you've got Mike Skinner, the man himself, that won the series title. And Ron Esau has come all the way from California. Give it a shot. Hey, it's going to be fun.
The way they've done this lineup, by the way, is they have done it by points, but they've inverted the whole field. Now, all year long, what they've done is take the guy who was fastest and pretty much start him up front. They did a couple of little inversions, but this is the first time that the very best of the equipment has started in the back. That is with the exception of Esau, who is starting absolutely tail end because he is a late entry.
Yeah, and that Mike Skinner turned this track at 41.066, 132.372, and there you're riding with Mike Skinner, who was the fastest out here, and they inverted the field. Hey, this is going to be like a short track race on a mile and a half.
Wow. Skinner's strong. He won 8 of these races. They've had 20 of them until today. He has won 8 of them, won the most money. He won 4 of the poles this year. He has really dominated the series.
And you're riding with Rick Carilli right now as he gets set to go.
Carilli has yet to win one of these truck races. He's been close. He was second at Flemington, but has not yet crossed the line in first spot. Toted all the way in from Denver to run this.
There you see that Biscayne National Park right off the back straightaway, looking down toward the Key West area. Actually looking toward the ocean here. Just a few miles down the road. The Florida Keys, all the way down to the end of the United States. It's all here at Homestead.
Yeah,
Homestead, Florida. The crowd keeps pouring in this afternoon. I mean, we started out okay.
Well,
sold out for tomorrow.
I think a lot of people had to work, and they've just flown out of work to get here. Look at this. The place is packed.
Yep. And they want to see, because the word is first race, Craftsman SuperTruck Series for 1996, Homestead, Florida. From the blimp, there you get a look. Call that a helicopter, call it a blimp. It's still a great shot. All right, we're getting set on this one. This is 25 laps. 25 laps to get this one undergo. Mike Skinner this season defeating Joe Ruttman and Ron Hornaday. Butch Miller wound up 4th in those point standings. And all season long, the excitement in this particular series of NASCAR, brand new series this year. Went out to Tucson, ran that great winter heat series, got it off to a bit of a start. But from the moment they cranked them up, time after time sold out. That crowd in Milwaukee, that standing ovation at the end of that race, and I think it was for the entire field. It was so amazing.
At Mesa Marin, they sold out. They have set records virtually every place they have run. They ran at Phoenix last weekend, and they drew a tremendous crowd there for their race on Saturday. Huge crowd.
And not a bad crowd for the first day here on a Saturday afternoon in Miami. Grand National going to appear tomorrow. They'll decide all of their points, all the point battles, although it's pretty much decided up in front. Johnny Benson is the champion. He's going to move on to Winston Cup, but there's a lot of guys that have said, like Mike McLaughlin, they're going to stay in Grand National at least another 2 years. They're happy there.
And from second on back, the points are very much at issue in that Grand National division.
Okay, we're getting set to go here. Truck racing's the story right now. We get ready to turn them loose, have ourselves some fun with the Super Trucks of NASCAR in their first time on a mile and a half.
Dodge on the pole with Jimmy Hensley. Ford on the outside with Ernie Irvin behind the wheel.
And that Dodge can give them fits. That's the Dodge that can really carry the mail on a big track. All right, getting down, turned him loose, coming up to speed. Bodine dives right to the inside. Make no mistake about it.
And the outside, he's just sort of shuffling around there.
Out in front goes Jimmy Hensley. Puts the Dodge in front for the moment.
Something unusual with this race is that NASCAR has let several of the teams load the truck with live computers to record data to see what's going on during the running of a race. NASCAR usually doesn't let you have a computer in any sort of race vehicle.
Riding with Rick Corelli's, he gives you a view coming around the speedway. The Denver, Colorado driver dives down to the inside. Boy, they pick up the speed on this. Here they are in the main straightaway. Hensley drawing away. Bodine pulls down to the inside on Ernie Irvan for second. Field into one. As they're in an overtake on Jimmy Hensley. Jeff Bodine, driving his own truck this afternoon, wheels it off and comes after him in the X-side Ford. Back straightaway. And the fans are on their feet. No one sitting down on this one. Here comes Ernie Irvan and Skinner down to the bottom.
Close
Sure,
competition.
we're just going to go down and see how they feel and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
They dropped the flag, and if it was for $5, here comes Ernie Irvan. They'd put it all on the line. If there was nobody here, these guys would race all day. 3 wide, now back to 2 wide. Skinner goes out in front.
All the way from the back, Mike Skinner to the front. Mike Chase now in second spot.
That's what we're used to in this particular series. Ernie Irvan up in there, Mike Skinner, Jeff Bodine.
Or any series where there is a black vehicle with a white or a silver number 3 on the door.
Bodine slipping back. Now he's starting counter again. Here he comes. He's under Jimmy Hensley. That little Dodge number 30 at Milwaukee just put on such a show with Hornaday and Skinner. 30 laps they fought. And as I say, at Milwaukee on that mile, an entire crowd stood up as one. And they must have applauded for 5 minutes. It was some performance, and it was an eat your heart out kind of race. Here's Butch Miller's number 98. He seems to have found a place. They had 13 different champions from major American racing series, all in the Craftsman SuperTruck Series last year. So much great racing talent. And to see Sammy Swindell run against Butch Miller, that's as good as it gets for me. All right, Skinner out in front. Here he comes, leading the pack.
Any report of smoke out of the number 1 truck? That's Mike Chase. Scoop Vessel's machine. He was one of the originators of this truck series. 3 of them got together and decided we ought to race trucks. Then they realized that NASCAR could really do it right and handed it to NASCAR. Oh yeah, there's that smoke. Vessel's Jim Venable, Dick Landfield, all part of the original group that began this truck series. Jeff Bodine on the low side now, getting it done. Butch Miller in the 98 car. That's the same car, or same truck. Sorry, truck.
Oh, wow. Skinner comes across in first. Bodine is second. Ernie Irvan up to third. And back comes Jimmy Hensley with that Chrysler. I tell you, they are having one good time. But they've had a good time wherever they've gone this year.
It's been good, close racing, but everybody's had a lot of fun, too. It's been an interesting experience to throw so many diverse racers together in a single series, and everybody has gotten along just fine. Nobody's punched anybody else in the nose at all.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. There have been some moments. You get Joe Ruttman and you get Swindell, and they may put a black flag out on that number 1. When the PJ drove throughout the season, looking like it's having some problems, getting some smoke out, and they don't want to grease this one up. Jimmy Hensley pulls up on Ernie Irvan in a battle for third. The NASCAR SuperTrucks taking a good hard look, and there's that number 30.
Ford versus a Dodge.
Yep. And that number 30 with Jimmy Hensley. Anybody wants a driver, they turn to Jimmy Hensley. He is the journeyman driver of NASCAR these days. Put him in a Winston Cup, put him in a Grand National, put him in the SuperTruck, put him in anything, and he'll bring you home a race car, or he'll give you a race.
And that truck is absolutely loaded with electronics. The engineers from Dodge were here all morning wiring that truck up. It had so much stuff on it, even the crew chief couldn't list everything that they're monitoring during the running of this race.
Rick, correct.